lost.
Oh, good. Oh, it'll be great coming from them. Awesome.
I know. So they're coming over at 8:30.
Great. Okay. Well, we'll do speedy version.
In the future, if you want to move it up, we can move it up.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll see what works best for everyone who's able to be on.
Okay.
So good. Okay, awesome. Well, I was going to do announcements and celebrations. Let's save celebrations for our team page and move those over there. And if each of you can share something that you want to celebrate from this past week and put it over there, and we'll see who else has something to celebrate. It can be business, health, fitness, since our last call together on your word of the year, anything you want to share with us. So we'll move that. We'll adjust that to so you can get as much out of the call tonight as possible. And then a few announcements. This week is Super Saturday. Julianne, is it still far away like has been in the past for you? Okay. Yes. And we talked about going, and LA is not super convenient. So what I'll do is I'll get the recording as soon as we can, get it on the team page, and then we can have a discussion there. Summit ticket prices, the promotion ends on the 12th, so that's in just a couple days. It's $155 right now. I know both of you have talked about wanting to go this year, so this would be a great opportunity to get the best deal.
Yeah.
That's something. I thought it ended later than that.
Yeah, so no, you've got a couple days.
That's Saturday.
Okay. To Be Mindset, they extended the sale to the end of this month, which is great. And Julie, I know you're just starting. Regina, you've experienced it. So now is the best time really to talk about it. Team Cup enrollment will be soon. I think all 4 of us would make an amazing team if we're allowed to be on together, Dad. I don't know if we can, but we'll check that out.
I don't know the current rules, but yeah, if we can, that'd be awesome.
I think so too. So we'll look into that.
When does it start?
I would guess February. If they're enrolling now.
Yeah,
I think they'll talk about that on Super Saturday too.
Does the refresh qualify as a SC point?
It does if Shakeology is involved. So you can get the Shakeology in with it and do HD, and then it will be.
Because I have 2 girls. I'm going to do the refresh. I've never done it.
I like it.
It's on sale too right now, I believe.
And I think I need to do it. So I'm doing it on the 1st of February. And one of my friends is getting married in October. So she wants to now she's like, now I need you. Because I was like,
she's ready for you.
Yeah, now she's ready. So
that's the power of consistency. You're still here and you're still doing this. Now she's ready.
She's getting married in October, so she says she wants to do something. So I told her about the refresh, and I'm gonna do it. So her and somebody else, it's doing it. So that will be 2. But I don't know if they want Shakeology. I don't know why they don't like Shakeology.
If they're doing the refresh, honestly, they will be their most enjoyable meal, number 1. And number 2, it's going to help continue the habits. Like, change doesn't happen in 3 days. I mean, you'll see change in 3 days, but it's really about long-term consistent change. So talk about why you love the shake and how it's going to help them. And they can just do it for 30 days. Let's, talk. If her wedding's in October, 3 days right now isn't going to make that big of a difference.
Unless she wants to jumpstart.
Yeah.
I told her about the refresh.
Awesome. That sounds great.
Kirsty, that ticket price for Summit is through the 31st.
Oh, good to know. I'll change that on my notes. That's interesting. Okay. I'll just
on the coach page it says the 12th through the 31st.
Oh, is it on the next line that it says through 31st?
Yeah, in the title it just says January 12th.
That's why. Okay. I was doing this like minutes before this call when my other meeting got out, so speed reading doesn't always give accurate information.
Sorry. We're doing a speed meeting.
I know. No, it's okay. Transform 20 comes out, releases officially on the 14th. We're all on board, yeah. I know my dad might not be, but and then next week, same place, same time, vision board party here.
Okay.
If you want, Regina, we could get together We could make
Yeah.
it a local event and broadcast it. And you can invite friends too for this. It will not be business specific or coaching specific. So feel free to bring friends in and we can.
When next week?
Yeah, next Thursday, 8 p.m. We could meet sooner if you want to.
Well, are we gonna do it like this, like tonight, and then?
So what I was thinking is doing a little piece on visualization and the power of visualizing our dreams, and then we'll actually like make our boards. So cut things out, paste things, bring magazines, stuff like that. Bring a board or a book, and then that could be, in person or just over Zoom.
Okay. I want to do it in person.
Okay.
More fun.
Yeah, I'll talk to my parents about using their space, and then we'll just broadcast what we want to, and then, enjoy the rest of the night. So, okay, that's all I got. Is there anything else that we wanted to talk about announcements-wise?
Are you going to set up a Transform 20 group on Facebook?
Yeah, we talked about doing that. So I'll get working on getting that started and set up.
Oh, I know this is crushing it to start it Monday, so you won't be starting it Monday, right?
Well, if we're doing a group, we should open it now. So I'll work on that tomorrow. I'll get it on my list of things to do tomorrow. We can bring people in, and if you want, we can make it like a sneak peek for 5 days, like what it's about, who it's for, random facts about Shaun T if we want to, and then we can like literally kick it off on Monday.
Okay. I just tell me what I can do and I'll see.
Okay. Okay.
I've got one person that wants to do it. I'm checking with her to see if she's ordered. So
okay.
Yeah, I have one person that ordered it. 2 actually.
Sweet. Maybe we can just pick some days.
Yeah, Cynthia already had bought, so she just ordered the bundle.
Sweet.
And then she found her step at Walmart, I think, or at Amazon. I don't know where.
Great. Okay, cool. Maybe we can each pick a day or 2 a week and use the content that they already have and just plug it in and make sure that, we're all involved in supporting our peeps.
Yeah. I can do that.
Okay.
The missionaries just got here.
Oh, shoot. Okay, well, you go. I have this recorded. Okay. My dad has an awesome thing planned tonight, and I'll just make sure it gets over into the group.
Okay. I'll listen to it. I wanted to say, and I didn't write anything down. And I wanted to ask you something. But when I think about it, I'll ask. Sorry.
You know where to find me.
I wanted to be in the meeting, but
I know. I'm sorry. That's all right. I'll get it posted right away tonight.
All right. Good night, guys.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
See you later. All right, Dad. You want to just take it over?
Yes. So, let me get squared away here. First of all, I didn't realize that Jill Swanberg was not in Superfit Coach Squad. I just put her in just like 5 minutes before our presentation. I was looking and it said suggested members for your group. And I'm like, how is she not in there already? But she wasn't. And I just saw a notification that she just posted in Superfit. So, at least she'll be able to see the recording of this, but I think it'd be really good for her.
Yeah, she was on last week on our Word of the Year webinar. She didn't talk, but she was on and she listened, and then she talked to me afterwards.
Can you look real quick and see what she just posted a comment?
She said, thanks, Tom, for inviting me to the group.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, well, let me see if I can set this up. I am horrible at technology, so I apologize. But I'll figure it out here. We'll get through it. Okay, so I gotta exit out here. And are you seeing my screen right now?
Yeah, it's just
the Zoom call, Zoom screen.
Yep.
There we go.
Now, why don't? So, can you see the presentation? The introduction.
We're probably on your other screen. So drag it over to your other screen, or when you go to, there we go. There it is. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So when I when I started working on this presentation, I really had a hard time trying to figure out if I wanted to talk about business and how to help customers, or if I wanted to just do something that helped our team members with their own fitness journey. And so really when I created this, it really has to do with my ideas on how to get real results with Beachbody products. And some of the things I'm presenting, hopefully you can look at them and you can say, okay, so it might apply to you, but you might get ideas on how what I'm saying might be something you can share with your customers to help them to kind of get a grip and to get traction, to get momentum, and ultimately to get, amazing results that can last a lifetime. Right. So that's my thought when I created this. And so anyway, let's fire in here. And I think number one is to set powerful goals. And, when I think about goals, really, I know that there's thousands of different approaches, ideas, different people's thoughts on how to do goals. In New Year's, it's a big deal because everybody's setting their new goals for the year. And so, it's pretty fresh on people's mind right now. But for me, like the goal part of it is the part where you're like dreaming big. You're thinking about the possibilities for yourself. And, you want to try and imagine something that is maybe what you might think before is beyond your grasp. And so those, that become really powerful goals when it's something you really have to reach for. Right. So anyway, the most important benefit of setting goals isn't achieving the goal. It's what you do and the person you become in order to achieve the goal. That's the real benefit. It's really about the journey. Goal setting is powerful because it provides focus. It shapes our dreams. It gives us the ability to hone in on exact actions we need to perform to achieve everything we desire in life. Goals are great because they cause us to stretch, grow in ways that we never have before. In order to reach our goals, we must become better. It's just part of the process of reaching goals. We could do a whole seminar on how to set goals, how to set measurable goals, but for this purpose, what I really want you to talk about is reach beyond what you think is possible for yourself and aim for that. Okay. So number two has to do with getting and staying motivated. And I think that's a totally different thing. It maybe comes after the idea of having a vision in your mind of what it is that you really want to achieve. But I think you're becoming motivated is more about it's an emotional thing. And really when you attach emotions to what you want, it becomes way more powerful. So make a decision to go all the way to the top. Up to now, you've thought about it. Up to now, it's past your mind. But now make up your mind to go all the way to the top and your life will take off. It's the most extraordinary thing. The thing that I think is really important is that if you really want something, don't dabble with it. Just go for it. Go all in. Your life is like a shadow going up the dark side of a hill until the moment you decide that I'm going to be the best at what I do. And suddenly you rise into the sunshine and your life is forever after different and wonderful. But the reality is, you have to get serious. No more fooling around. Don't dabble with it. Make a commitment to yourself and go for it. I've talked a lot in the past with people about discipline and willpower, and those are all fine and dandy to get you started, but more than willpower is why power. You got to have a real reason. You got to, and that a reason has to be in front of you all the time. So that part, I really believe you have to write that part down and have it someplace where you see it all the time. All right. So the third part is taking an action. And what I've found is I've worked with hundreds of different people is that taking action, it's really hard for people. Change is hard. Creating, that mindset and actually doing something different is really, really hard for people. Way harder than I ever thought it was. In fact, I spent a year and a half in a mentorship program and through Brendon Burchard's group. And then I had a one-on-one coach that I worked with for my business for over a year. And he kept emphasizing to me that we have to have so much empathy and understanding and compassion for other people, because making those changes is really hard and you have to start really small. So with that in mind, add 1 or 2 new actions that we know will point us in the right direction. And look, for us in the Beachbody world, I know what it is. It's picking an exercise program that you think you'll like and sticking with it start to finish. That's action number 1. And action number 2 is do something different about your nutrition. The easiest, simplest thing for people to do is to have Shakeology. And so those 2 things, it's Shakeology and exercise. And there's nothing new about that concept for us. We know that it's like the no-brainer, but getting people to the point where they actually do those 2 things consistently is really, really, really challenging. So what happens to people when they take on those 2 things? So sometimes action takes you only so far. Increase self-confidence and the feeling that you have mastered these simple actions. That's an awesome thing. The result may be small in that, like the physical result, but they're real. And sometimes the results are in the satisfaction of the journey. But the real bottom line is that those 2 things are really, really hard habits for people to create. But when they create them, they begin that process of change. Now, what the idea of really getting traction in your actions is that what is really, really hard for the first couple of weeks, we know how sore our bodies get when we start an exercise program. The first 2 weeks is really the hardest part. After that, the soreness starts to go away. You start to, feel a little bit better. There's so many good things that happen from exercise as far as self-confidence and the hormones that are released in your body and the reshaping of your body, and there's some weight loss. And granted, it's possible that the weight loss isn't huge, but the idea of getting super comfortable with those 2 actions gives us enough results to start to build momentum. And when you start to build that little bit of momentum, that's when it becomes really easy to add to those 1 or 2 things. And there's a lot of different ways to add. I know for me, after I got to that point where I felt really good from doing my daily exercise, drinking my Shakeology, I had a lot more energy. I felt better, and I really ramped up my workouts. but it also can manifest itself in other ways. Let me read this and then we'll talk about some of those other things that happen. If we don't learn good habits, life becomes more difficult. We have a choice. Get hard on ourselves so life becomes easier, or get easy on ourselves so ourselves resulting in life getting harder. The bottom line is you either do something that's hard to make life better, or you make life really easy right now and you find that it's really hard later, right? Successful people choose good habits over a stagnant life. At first, it might not seem like you're accomplishing much, but don't be fooled. Small hinges open big doors. Not all good habits are created equal. Some are more powerful than others. See the ones that will strengthen your confidence, help you get what you want, and result in a satisfying journey. When you feel like you really have this, add one more. Step up the intensity, tweak another meal, do an extra rep, hold the pose a little longer. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. That's when you really start seeing momentum in action. Yeah.
Sorry, have you read this? The Slight Edge?
Yes.
Okay. I'm like, I hear you, Tom. I hear you. I know what you're talking about. Talks about it in here all the time.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like between this one, the fourth step, and the one before that you just talked about, I feel like the step that most people miss is a commitment, like a big commitment.
Right.
Like it talks about it in there, committing to 3 to 5 years to really become successful in something, whatever it is. And I think that's where so many people get lost, because they don't, in their mind, plan, I'm going to commit for 3 years. And so when things are hard or they don't see what they want to see right away, that's where they get lost. Instead of continuing those good habits, like you said, the small hinges open big doors. That success curve looks the same in the beginning, but you have to just be consistent, and then eventually there's an exponential change, either up or down.
So I wonder often about how to help other people who are struggling, who start this process, who are really, they get to the point where they just give up too soon. Mm-hmm. How do you get them to the point where they're just like, I'm going to do it anyway? And you may not even see the results in the beginning. You might not see anything, but if somebody is really quite overweight and they start in 2-3 weeks in, which is the hardest part, the first couple of weeks, so painful, but before you've created a habit, it takes a lot of extra effort to really get going every day, to get the workout in, to drink your shake, to clean up your other meals, to really start these habits. And there becomes this thing where they want like the microwave effect. They want like results right now. Mm-hmm. So getting them to understand that like the results right now are, more in the feelings that you get, the satisfaction of accomplishing something, the feel-good hormones that are released, the beginning of self-confidence, swagger, all of, the emotions that come with it. And so, like, if that's what in the beginning is the result, then I think that, like, obviously accountability becomes a big part of it to help them through that part. But yeah, when you get to where you feel really good, you can start adding a few things. And really that's like where a lot of the really good stuff happens. I know this last year for me, 2018 was a pretty tough year. I had sort of a, what, I don't know what you'd call it. I have arthritis in my knees, and that was sort of, one of the original problems that got me started in the first place is after being static for so long because I had so much knee pain that I became overweight and depressed, and I really struggled. Well, I had a lot of this problems with my knees again this year. I had a major flare up, and I couldn't do anything for a while, and I had to, because I had to slow down on the workouts, and I couldn't really follow the same pattern that I followed in the past. I definitely hit somewhat of a plateau as I was doing some of the behaviors that really cause change, but not all of them. And so I was sort of stuck. One of the simple things that helped me was I used the 2B mindset concepts and principles of nutrition to really begin to create the momentum again that I needed. I haven't had a problem with drinking water. I drink over a gallon of water a day and have done so for 5+ years. And so that's not a problem. But eating the veggies, getting the carb ratios right, having my carbs in the morning and then at lunch, and then not having carbs at dinner, having salads every day for lunch, which gave me, I have meat in them as well, but it's more than 50% vegetables. And so, really those things really got me moving again and moving the scale. I'm involved in a health bet that Joel Freeman put on using Lift 4, and Health Bet is a different company than Beachbody, but Joel's running a group in there and having really, really good results from that. So it's really about intensifying when you feel good. And that's made a big difference for me. Obstacles, man, we all have obstacles. I know that, you've probably heard them as you tried to share with other people. You may have had plenty of them yourself, but what are we talking about? Like money, time to work out, time to meal prep, embarrassed by past failed attempts, too many kids, having families and having other priorities as well. You don't feel good enough to get started, being in pain, not knowing how to start, and ultimately losing your motivation. Those are things that we all face, those obstacles. And no matter where we are in life, we're going to have obstacles. Finding ways to overcome them is crucial. I don't know if I've shared the story of Albert Lobo with you before, but Albert Lobo was San Bernardino County Sheriff who was assigned to the jail in the high desert for several months. While he was working in the jails, he got the flu, started feeling really lousy. He talked to some of the other officers about it while he was there, and they said it was really normal. The air inside of the facility is really lousy, and so it'll go away. And so he just ignored it, kept working, and one day it was so bad he passed out. The next time he woke up was in the hospital several months later. His blood apparently had gone septic, and in order to save his life, the doctor had removed both of his legs, one of his arms, and the other arm, half of his hand. And so in the process, he remembered thinking that he wanted desperately to live. And when he found out that they'd taken his limbs, he was still so incredibly grateful that he was alive, because he had kids and he wanted to be able to raise his kids and teach them and help them and, be a part of their life. And so when he was rehabilitating, even after he had his limbs removed, the doctors told him that he was most likely going to die. And he fought it and he survived it. He went through rehabilitation, physical therapy, and I met him about 3 years ago. And there was something about him that really attracted me to him, and I wanted to know more about him. And it wasn't just because he was different, because he lost his limbs. It was more about that here's this guy who had this glow and happiness about him, and he was sitting by the swimming pool at the Claremont Club while his kids were taking swim lessons in the afternoon. And so I would see him as I was working. I was through the market, we were providing food for their events at the club. And so I kept seeing him over and over and over. And finally one day I went up to him and I said, hey, I got to know your story. I would like to get to know you better. And I want to know how come you're such a happy person? And so we got to know each other, and we've done several things since then. But I just find it amazing that with all the obstacles that people have in life, somebody like that has overcome them. And the one part of it that I haven't shared with you is that, like, the body that he has now is super fit. And when he was going through the physical therapy part of the rehabilitation, the physical therapist would tell him to do crunches. He couldn't do a whole lot more than that because he doesn't have a whole lot more to do things with. But, they asked him do 20 crunches. And so, for several sessions, he would do his 20 crunches. Pretty soon he goes, I'm not going to do 20. I can do 100. I feel good. I can do more. I can ramp it up. And so he went way above and beyond what they told him to do, just because he said, I know I can do it. And he fought through it, and he did it. And he's created this amazing life for himself. And so he's always a good motivator for me, because I know that we all have obstacles and we'll always face them. But if somebody like that can overcome obstacles, we can find a way to overcome obstacles as well. And the last thing that I really wanted to talk about is celebrating victories. There's a lot of different things that happen through the journey. You definitely feel better and stronger, and it doesn't take long before you feel that. Pretty soon your clothes start fitting better. You see muscle definition that you didn't have before. People start noticing, and they start asking you, hey, man, you look great. What did you do? And you look at the scale, and what the scale used to be the enemy, and now the scale is the friend, because the weight starts peeling off. You're happier. Your health, when you go to the doctors and you do lab work, your blood pressure is better, your cholesterol is better, your heart rate is better, your skin, your hair, your nails, all of them, you can see it. And ultimately, emotionally, your body is like the machine, but it affects your mind and your emotions. And so when you start to get self-confidence, swagger, when your emotions, you're happier all the time, you have the ability to cope with all of the different areas of life better. And lastly, what I really wanted to share is that if you're in an airplane, every time they give you instructions on how to put your oxygen mask on, and they always say that if you're with somebody else, if you're with the child or whatever, you always put your own oxygen mask on first. If you can't breathe and you're struggling and you are frantic, you are way less capable of helping somebody else. But when you have your own oxygen mask on and you can breathe normally, it makes it so that you can go to the next person and you can help them and set them up. And the same thing applies with your health. Being that person that has done it and feels better and has been able to really get it under control makes it so much easier to help those around you, your family members, your friends, acquaintances, people that you might meet along the way, customers. It's all about like putting your own mask on first and then reaching out and helping somebody else. But in the process, accountability, friends, groups are crucial, and celebrating the victories along the way is a huge part of it. So that's it. But if you guys want to talk about any concepts along the way, I'm happy to talk about whatever might be interesting for you.
I just want to add, I loved all of that, and especially celebrating the victories. I think that's that missing piece sometimes when people are in that like 2-week zone where they're not necessarily seeing huge results yet. Helping them celebrate that you pressed play and you finished your workout, or you got a little bit farther along than last time, and like pointing out all those non-scale victories that aren't always as evident to people. Like, do you have more energy? Did you feel happier today? Did you get more done around the house after doing your workout? And so helping our challengers see the celebrations and doing like we did in the 2B mindset group, ring the bell every 2 pounds. That's why I love that they go so small, the 2-pound goals, because we're celebrating so much. And that does like really reaffirm in our minds that we're making progress, even if, you know, it's not apparent to other people yet, or, you know, our weight might not be changing, but there's so much going on inside us. And then also, you know, that our habits are changing, and celebrating that with our challengers always.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's huge. And I think that's the point where they need it the most.
Yeah, I think it can help when the motivation might start to die down at that point because things are hard or the results aren't staggering. But if you celebrate those little things, and people will cheer you on too, because they're watching. And then
Yeah, that's
help to
true.
drive you, when you need that extra motivation.
You know, it's funny, Dad, you're sharing your other screen.
Oh, I am.
So I don't know if you can see both, but I have them minimized. So I could see me like in a delay talking, and I'm like, things were not, it was delayed. Anyway, it was kind of funny.
Yeah, you got to remind me to finish up sometimes.
That was funny. Well, it's hard because I know with having the double screens and with the screen share, sometimes it's hard to see that you're even doing it. So
Yeah, right.
that was kind of funny. But I love just also what you said, Julie, like, so it's sharing your own victories along the way, which encourages other people, and then helping our challengers to see their victories and celebrate with them. Like, seriously, send them a dance party gift so that they know that you're excited with them. And then sharing their transformation, it's like this, there's so many different ways to share and to keep that encouragement high when, you know, it's, we have those hard days where we think, am I even making a difference? Yes, we are. These small changes make a huge difference.
Mm-hmm. I know the one thing that I focused on a lot recently is the mind, like my mindset, my perception, and doing the personal development has been huge, because it really will affect how you view it all. Like reading the Slight Edge, and how it talks about that journey and how consistency is so important, and how sometimes the results are slow, and just kind of that concept of that, and to really like constantly be reaffirming it to your mind, because we just forget, you know. I mean, you could read that book and then within a few months you're going to need it again, you know, like
That's
you have
true.
to refresh those ideas, and just being surrounded by those the positivity and the motivation and the encouragement, it just makes a difference, you know. Like if you're constantly surrounded by advertisements for fast food and restaurants, you're going to want to do those things. But if, like when I was pregnant and I wasn't working out, and I had a high sodium diet because of my blood pressure, and I couldn't eat super healthy, and it was just such a weird place to be, but I was still watching everybody's feed on Facebook all the time, you know, and like seeing all the healthy things. It was really frustrating, but I knew that was where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
So as soon as I wasn't pregnant, I was able to come back to it, because that's where my goal was. That's where my head the whole time was, being surrounded by those good things instead of just saying, screw it. This, you know, I'm going to give up, basically. But it's what you surround yourself with. And I know in the Slight Edge, she talks about your like 3 or 5 closest friends, and where they are in life is where you'll find that you are too, because it's what you're surrounding yourself with.
That's true. Oh, you have it handy too. That's awesome.
I have it close by. I use this. I use Compound Effect.
That's a good one too.
I want to read that
Kind
too.
of 2 Bibles for me, and then Tony Horton.
Okay.
And He's written several books, but this is a good one, The Big Picture. And check this out. I saw him on a cruise, one of our Success Club trips, and I got him to sign it for me.
Nice.
You did?
Right?
How
Awesome.
cool is
That
that?
was fun.
That's awesome. I didn't know you did that. Which one? The one or the cruise?
I feel like I remember
Would
seeing
have been the last cruise that we were on. That's when the book came out.
Oh,
It came out right before that. So I read the book and then I got him to sign it, which is
that's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually going to do a book club next month in February with the Slight Edge. And
Oh,
try and get some of my friends to read it with me.
I would love to do it with you because I haven't read it
It
yet.
makes such a big difference just constantly having that literature. And then I got remember, Kirsty, we talked about the happiness advantage?
Yeah.
I got that one too. And then Girl Wash Your Face is the next one on my list after
I
that.
started that one. I haven't finished it yet, but
I'm going to read it before Summit.
Yay,
For
good.
sure.
Yeah, before we get to see her.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome.
You just can't underestimate the value of that personal development. It's huge.
Yeah. It is, and our minds are never turned off. Like we're always thinking something. Like you said, it's either a positive thought or a negative thought, or it's just, neutral, not moving us forward. And so it is so important to be aware of what our thoughts are and how they're affecting us. And then just like you said, like filling it with the good stuff. That's so important.
Hi, Lulu.
Go to bed.
No kidding.
Hi, Grandpa.
Hi, Grandpa.
So cute.
We love Grandpa, huh? Thank you, Dad. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Where's
Welcome. I hope there was some piece of it that helps, that hits home.
Yeah,
For
definitely.
me, I think it's awesome. And there's so many different levels. I mean, it's for ourselves, right? And then also applying this to help our challengers and then sharing it all too. It's super great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys. I think I need to go. So we'll end now, but don't forget to share a celebration. I'll make it like a little image and we can put it there. And that's part of, this last step is celebrating the victories. Let's do that together. It's so encouraging for everyone else to see also.
Oh, and by the way, Jill passed her
Yeah.
presentation yesterday. So.
You know what would be fun is if we celebrated ourselves as one comment, and then we celebrated someone else on our team for something that we've seen them do. That would be cool. Even if it was just us three doing that, just starting that trend and see what happens there. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Like do it for ourselves and then pay it forward and celebrate someone else.
I like it.
Me too. Okay, cool. Thank you all for coming on. Thanks, Dad.
You're welcome. Good night, guys.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye-bye.